and welcome to the final session of this workshop on the publication of trachoma survey data, run by Tropical Data at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Before we get started, we would like to sincerely thank all of our partners involved in the running of Tropical Data. We would also like to thank everyone involved in the creation of this workshop, which was run in collaboration with the Ethiopian Health Ministry and funded by RTI International and the Fred Hollows Foundation. In this session, we will be covering how to format and prepare your manuscript for publication. Here are the topic areas we will cover: instructions, cover letter, and checklist. First, you should look at the instructions for authors on your target journal's website. Here, we have used Ophthalmic Epidemiology as an example. You can see the link in the video description. For this journal, the publisher, Taylor & Francis, gives you a manuscript layout guide which you can follow easily. You can find this in the link in the video description. To create a title, you can summarize your project or its findings in a sentence. For example, the prevalence of trachoma in X districts of X region after 3 annual rounds of mass drug administration. For the abstract, the journal asks you to structure with the following sections: background, methods, results, and discussion. The abstract should be a maximum of 250 words, and you should pick out the key elements of your paper to present in the abstract. For example, this slide demonstrates what you could write for each of the following sections in the abstract: the background, the methods, the results, and the discussion. Please take a few moments to read through the included content. You can also include acknowledgements, disclosures, and a funding statement at this stage. For acknowledgements, you can include study participants, field staff, and those who read but did not write the manuscript. For disclosures, you should mention any commercial relationships relevant to the outcome of the study. Each author should add a sentence such as, "No conflicting interest to declare," or "This author reports relationships with funding agencies." For funding, if there are multiple agency grants, you can write, "This work was supported by funding agency number 1 under the grant number," and list the grant number. Funding agency number 2 under grant number, and then list the grant number. And funding agency number 3 under grant number, and list that final grant number. When using the reference manager Mendeley, you can refresh using the reference style for Ophthalmic Epidemiology. For this particular journal, the layout guidelines are Times New Roman, size 12, double-spaced, bold main subheadings, underline secondary subheadings, table and figure legends listed at the end, not in line with the text. Now let's talk about the cover letter. There is guidance available on the Taylor & Francis website, linked in the video description, as to how to write a cover letter. It is preferable to write it in Word and transfer the file over when submitting. Here you will describe succinctly to the editor why they should publish this particular paper and why the findings are relevant to the journal's readership and fit within the aims and scope of the journal. Finally, let's talk about the submission checklist. Again, the Taylor & Francis website has a helpful pre-submission checklist, which you can use to help check whether you have taken all the necessary steps to be ready for submitting the manuscript. You can find this again in the video description. Your suggested task following this session is to finalize any missing sections and then format the manuscript for submission. As this is the last session, let us discuss your next steps. You should circulate your manuscript to other co-authors for comments. After you have reviewed comments, edited accordingly, and all authors are happy with the final version of the manuscript, you should submit your manuscript to the journal using the online submission system, where it will undergo the peer review process and hopefully, eventually, be accepted for publication. Please be aware that this process can take quite a few months. Thank you for engaging with this workshop. We hope it has helped you learn more about the manuscript writing process for trachoma surveys, and we wish you the best of luck.